Started? Good. Good afternoon, one and all. Welcome to Embassy of India in Kuwait. Thank you for joining today's program. Today we have gathered here to listen to Ambassador His Excellency Shri C.B. George Sir's address to the Indian community. Without further ado, may I now invite Ambassador of India to Kuwait, Shri C.B. George Sir, to address the Indian community. Ambassador of India to Kuwait, Shri C.B. George Sir, will join us shortly.
My fellow citizens of India in Kuwait, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Let me begin my address today by thanking His Highness Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmad Al-Jabr Al-Sabah, Amir of the State of Kuwait, and His Highness Sheikh Mishal Al-Ahmad Al-Jabr Al-Sabah, Crown Prince, for hosting the large Indian community in Kuwait and for looking after our community during the COVID-19 pandemic. The main topic of my interactive open house session last month, attended by many of you, was the evolving COVID-19 pandemic and the many steps that the embassy has taken in recent months in coordination with the authorities in government of Kuwait, concerned authorities in government of India, and the various Indian associations and groups in Kuwait to address the many concerns of the Indian community and their families in India. We spoke about updated database of stranded Indians, those who lost their jobs, those who did not get their indemnities, free teleconsultations by our medical doctors from Indian Doctors Forum, food distribution by the Indian Community Support Group ICSG, special counters at the embassy for registration for vaccination, vaccine registration campaign being undertaken by various associations, registration for vaccines for those without civil IDs, legal assistance for those in need, medical assistance for those in need, and COVID-19 awareness campaign in association with organizations like IDF. This is a work in progress, and we are making some progress despite the many challenges of COVID-19 pandemic we face. I have received a few queries requesting me to cover updates on these issues and topics like the CBSE examination in my address today. I will discuss these in our next open house interactive session later this month. In recent weeks, I have also been in engagement with the community in small groups through various interviews with print and electronic media, and also by joining the awareness programs being organized by various associations and groups. Today, I will focus on the evolving COVID-19 situation in India and the assistance being received from abroad. Before I do that, let me thank our doctors, our nurses, and our medical professionals, and our frontline warriors who are making many sacrifices in India, here in Kuwait and all across the world. It is their hard work and sacrifice that continue to save lives. Dear friends, we are now suddenly faced with a new evolving situation due to spike in COVID-19 cases in India in recent weeks. I would not like to get into the scientific and medical aspects of the pandemic, which is for scientists and medical experts to address. We will do a separate session on this in partnership with the Indian Doctors Forum later. The fact is that the second wave of COVID-19 pandemic has now hit our motherland hard. It has implications for us here in Kuwait too, as the travel to and from India has been completely stopped. All flights, including the air bubble which helped the Vande Bharat mission, where Indians in Kuwait could return directly to India, has also been stopped. The latest figures from India as on today, May 7, is over 4 lakh new cases in the last 24 hours. 10 states, including Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, Delhi, Karnataka, Kerala, Bihar, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, and Rajasthan report over 70% of the new cases. 10 districts account for 25% of the total active cases in the country. The national mortality rate has been falling and currently stands at 1.09%. That's 3,915 deaths reported in the last 24 hours. 10 states account for 74.8% of the new deaths. At the same time, the cumulative number of COVID-19 vaccine doses administrative has crossed 16.49 crore today as the phase 3 of the nationwide drive expands further. There are challenges and the country as a whole is addressing it. In India, we are now faced with a crisis situation similar to the one many countries and many cities across the world faced last year. We have not forgotten the many disturbing visuals of 2020 when several countries, including developed countries, faced difficulties. India, despite having 1/6 of the total population of the world, faced the first wave effectively with very low daily infection rate numbers. The whole of society and whole of government approach adopted by our leadership helped us win the fight against COVID-19 in the first phase. I recall the several discussions we had from this platform when we proudly presented India's success story in managing the COVID-19 situation in the past 1 year. In fact, India was at the forefront of helping the world in addressing the challenges posed by COVID-19 crisis. Through Operation Sanjeevani and Vaccine Maitri, India established itself as a country with internationally relevant healthcare capabilities. India established itself as a reliable global pharma hub, supplying medicines and equipment to over 154 countries in the face of daunting logistical challenges. Indian HADR operations acquired global dimensions with the deployment of rapid response teams to Maldives, Kuwait, Mauritius, and Comoros, with Mission Sagar to Maldives, Mauritius, Madagascar, Comoros, Seychelles, Sudan, South Sudan, Djibouti, Eritrea, Vietnam, and Cambodia. Our network of diplomatic missions played the key role in organizing the Vande Bharat mission, the largest logistical mission of its type ever undertaken. This has facilitated the movement of more than 7 million people through lockdown and post-lockdown periods. We have also worked on the air bubbles established with 27 countries, including with Kuwait. We are now faced with that kind of a situation that many countries and cities faced in the past, as I mentioned earlier. Our Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, has spoken to the nation on several occasions in the last 2 weeks. Our External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, in his interview in London this week, covered this topic extensively. I have circulated these speeches to our community and associations through social media. We will continue to share the updates to all community through our associations and social media. In my various meetings with the community groups and associations, I have been briefing them on this. And I am happy to see the ongoing drive to mobilize support for India on these lines. In the meantime, I am getting a series of queries from the community and our various associations and groups on what more can be done, what should be done, how is it going, how do we ensure that the assistance has reached the destination, etc., etc. I have been answering them, talking to them over phone, by email, etc. I thought it is important to address the community and brief you on the situation and update you on the assistance from abroad and particularly from our friendly state of Kuwait. Let me cover the queries I received in the embassy in following broad categories. 1. State of assistance from abroad. When India is faced with the second wave, we have seen how the world has come forward to help us. As External Affairs Minister Dr. Jayashankar said in his interview to ANI in London this week, I quote, "The kind of situation which I am seeing and you are seeing in Delhi, I will do everything in my power to get help to our people. So I will leverage all my relationship. I will call in every IOU I have, and I have many because I have done my shift in the past and people know that." I had foreign ministers saying, I would like to do this. There are people who say, at least I am morally with you. I feel I like to do something. I have limitations. For me, I have one objective. My people are going through a very difficult phase of COVID in the second wave. As foreign minister, as someone heading a ministry which has relationship around the world, I will do everything which I have accumulated in many, many years to help my people. It's natural, unquote. Referring to what our embassies abroad can do to support our motherland, EAM said, and I quote, "Your job is to ensure that the key requirements today, oxygen is the major requirement, pharmaceuticals, remdesivir, other medicines are a requirement, vaccine supply chain is a requirement, so logistics for all this is a requirement. I have embassies who are working with the shipping lines, with airlines, different countries, creating hubs. You know how big the oxygen challenge is. So we are getting liquid medical oxygen. We are getting cryogenic tankers. We are getting oxygen tanks, oxygen cylinders. You have to locate them, organize them, send them, and you have seen now that support is flying from different countries. All of that requires coordination. Now my message to embassies is, keep your eye on that and do not get distracted by the rest of the debate. Your focus should be, right now, a very serious situation is back home. Just like the government is focused in addressing the pandemic at home single-mindedly, you also please do that. We will deal with argument down the road. At the moment, keep your eyes and energy focused on this, unquote. Government of India has been receiving international donations of COVID-19 relief material supplies and equipment since 27 April from different countries, including United Kingdom, Ireland, Romania, Russia, UAE, USA, Taiwan, Kuwait, France, Thailand, Germany, Uzbekistan, Belgium, Italy, etc. Now, second point, assistance from state of Kuwait. India and Kuwait have always stood with each other in times of difficulties. Kuwait was one of the first countries to come forward and offer support to India. The Council of Ministers of the Government of the State of Kuwait, in a statement on 26 April, expressed solidarity and extended support to India. The official statement read, and I quote, based on the distinguished friendship between the State of Kuwait and the Republic of India, and the keenness of the State of Kuwait to alleviate the suffering of the friendly Indian people in the face of these health difficulties, the Council of Ministers has decided to send oxygen and other relief components to the Republic of India urgently in solidarity with the friendly Indian people and in recognition of the exceptional circumstances experienced by friends in India. Foreign Minister His Excellency Sheikh Dr. Ahmad Nasser Al Mohammed Al Sabah, in a phone call with External Affairs Minister Sri S. Jayashankar, reiterated the keenness of the government of Kuwait to provide emergency relief and support to India. The ongoing assistance from Kuwait include, I will list out that, Kuwaiti Air Force aircraft reached Delhi on May 4 with 40 tons of assistance sent by the government of State of Kuwait, including ventilators, oxygen cylinders, oxygen concentrates, and medicines and other medical equipment. INS Kolkata departed Kuwait on May 4 with Kuwait government assistance of LMO 220 metric ton ISO cryo tankers totaling 40 metric ton LMO, then donation by Indian community in Kuwait through the Indian Community Support Group, oxygen cylinders, oxygen concentrators. Then Kuwaiti merchant ship departed on 5th May with Kuwait government assistance of liquid medical oxygen, 325 metric ton semi-trailers totaling 75 metric ton LMO and 1,000 oxygen cylinders. INS Kochi departed Kuwait on 6th May with Kuwait government assistance of LMO 320 MT ISO cryo tankers totaling 60 metric ton LMO. Donation by Indian community oxygen cylinders and oxygen concentrators. Then INS Tabar departed Kuwait on 6 May with Kuwait government assistance of LMO 220 metric ton ISO cryo tankers totaling 40 metric ton LMO. Donation by the Indian community in Kuwait through Indian Community Support Group has also left for India. And other supports from other individuals and groups. Third point, status of utilization of the assistance received. A streamlined and systematic mechanism for allocation of the government support supplies received has been put into place by the government for effective distribution of the medical and other relief and support material. All donations are addressed to the Red Cross Society of India. A standard operating procedure has been framed and implemented by the Health Ministry. A dedicated coordination cell has been created in the Health Ministry to coordinate the receipt and allocation of foreign COVID relief material as grants, aid, and donations. This cell started functioning on 26th April. All these relief medical supplies and equipment are being allocated by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare in a timely manner to the 38 care institutions and 31 states so far in the first tranche. This is done considering certain criteria like number of active cases, case fatality rate, positivity rate, need, etc. This will help to supplement the medical infrastructure of these institutions and 31 states and union territories and strengthen their clinical management capacities for prompt and effective clinical management of the hospitalized COVID-19 patients. Dear friends, the cargo clearance and deliveries are facilitated without delay in coordination with agencies concerned. The deliveries and further installations are also being monitored by the Health Ministry on a regular basis. I invite you to go through the PIB releases every day for regular updates. I will also update it on Mission's social media platforms. On May 6, the PIB release said 1,841 oxygen concentrators, 1,814 oxygen cylinders, 9 oxygen generation plants, 2,403 ventilators, more than 2.8 lakh remdesivir vials delivered. In fact, I personally get to see the daily updates on the details of the distribution for all donations received by Government of India. I will be happy to share it with all concerned to know the movement of their donations. At the same time, in the Ministry of External Affairs, a 24/7 COVID cell, which was created to manage a global effort to assist millions of Indians stranded in successive lockdowns, is in the wake of second wave of the pandemic, currently coordinating and channelizing global efforts to source raw materials for our vaccines, pharma and medical industries, to source oxygen and oxygen-producing equipment, and for coordinating the delivery of essential relief supplies to India. Let me reiterate that there are many logistic challenges, such as having to match specifications of equipment with our units, installation of oxygen plants needing technical assistance, training, maintenance, etc. Accessibility and immediate use of resources to save lives is an overriding consideration for determining the distribution of incoming relief material. All possible attempts are made to distribute the material immediately to ensure optimal use. Number 4, efforts of the Indian community in Kuwait in mobilizing support. I have mentioned the support that has already gone to India from the community spearheaded by ICSG. I recall the meeting I had with ICSG members. Within 3 hours, ICSG team came forward and told me we are sending 600 oxygen cylinders. Within a few days, they came forward and said we are sending another 600 more. Hats off to them, ICSG, IBPC, IDF, IIT, IIM groups, and many associations and individuals. Spearheading a campaign to mobilize oxygen cylinders and other equipment. At the same time, it's important to ensure that all contributions are made to these efforts are after due verification. Additionally, please note that as part of the standard operating procedure, all supplies of COVID-19 related equipment that is offered to be sent to India is to be routed through Indian Red Cross Society, which will receive it on behalf of Government of India. Keeping in mind the need for having a dedicated national fund with the primary objective of dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic and to provide relief to the affected, Prime Minister's Citizen Assistance and Relief in Emergency Situations Fund, PM CARES Fund, is currently in existence. Any clarifications or queries with regard to dispatch of emergency medical supplies to India or transfer of funds to PM CARES Fund may be addressed to the embassy. 5. Embassy to coordinate the assistance to be dispatched. I have set up a crisis management group of senior officers in the embassy to monitor the situation real time. We are available 24/7 for any clarification and assistance. The embassy is also getting requests from various state governments and union territories, and each request is being responded to by the embassy team. All queries on this is also welcome from the community. Dear friends, these are indeed extraordinarily difficult times. But let us remember that we can overcome this challenge by collective spirit and action. This pandemic is a challenge where we will all sink or swim together. There is no room for one-upmanship because nobody is safe from COVID-19 until each one of us is safe. Together, through our whole of society, whole of government approach, we will be able to overcome these difficult times and defeat this pandemic comprehensively. Till such time, it is important that we continue to support each other and remain alert. I will be happy to reply to any queries or questions you may have. Please write to me for any further clarifications. I conclude my address by thanking His Highness Sheikh Nawaf Al Ahmad Al Jaber Al Sabah, Amir of the State of Kuwait, and His Highness Sheikh Mishal Al Ahmad Al Jaber Al Sabah, Crown Prince, His Highness Sheikh Sabah Al Khalid Al Hamad Al Sabah, Honorable Prime Minister of Kuwait, and the government and the people of the friendly state of Kuwait for their support in this hour of need for India. I know it was a rather long address. Once again, I thank you for your participation and let us all remain in touch. I request all of you to stand up and sing our national anthem together on this birth anniversary of Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Kuwait Chamber of Choral. With this, we come to the end of today's program. I extend my deep gratitude to all those who made this program successful. A special thank you to the media team, media fraternity who covered today's program. Thank you, sir, for your inspiration, and thank you, Embassy of India's team. Thank you, everyone.